The text popped up on my phone, glowing like a neon dagger in the dark. I can't stop thinking about him. Love, Emily. I dropped the phone. My coffee sloshed over the counter. My heart froze mid-beat. Emily. My sister. My blood. My betrayal. I turned to him, the man I thought I knew, the man I trusted more than anyone. He smiled at me. That same smile I once fell for. But tonight it looked like a mask. A mask hiding a secret I wasn't supposed to see. The truth hit me like a car in slow motion. They weren't hiding. They were flaunting. Behind my back. Together. My name is Hannah Parker. And from wherever you're watching this, stay with me. Have you ever been treated like a stranger in your own home? Like the people who were supposed to protect you were architects of your pain? I stepped outside, the night air sharp against my skin. I needed distance, clarity. But my mind was a storm, twisting, turning, screaming. Every memory I had of them now tasted like ash. Every laugh we shared, every whispered secret, poisoned. I walked to the park, boots crunching against the frost-hardened ground. The streetlights flickered, casting long shadows. And there they were, images in my head, smiling at each other, unaware that the woman they betrayed was right there, bleeding quietly in silence. I clenched my fist. Rage was a living thing inside me, coiling, tightening, whispering. It told me, don't cry. Don't beg. Don't explain. Make them feel what they've taken from you. And I knew, karma wasn't a word. It was a plan. And I would execute it with precision. The betrayal wasn't just about love. It was about trust. About family. About the sacred bond that had been shredded in a single careless moment. I raised my phone again, my trembling fingers hovering over the screen. I didn't want to text him. I didn't want to call her. I wanted something more. Something unforgettable. Something that would make them feel the full weight of what they'd done. As I stared at the darkened sky, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying a promise I hadn't realized I was making to myself. They will regret this. Every single thing. Tonight the calm was a lie. Tomorrow the storm would come. And when it hit, they wouldn't know what was coming. I folded my phone, breathing in the cold night. One truth was clear. Nothing would ever be the same. And maybe, just maybe, they'd remember my name. Because betrayal isn't just a memory. It's a reckoning. The next morning the house felt like a cage. Every wall, every floorboard, every whisper carried betrayal. I could see them in my mind's eye, her smirking, him leaning in like the world belonged to them. And for a heartbeat I almost wished I could disappear. But no. I couldn't. I sat at the kitchen table staring at the cold coffee, pretending nothing had changed. They assumed I didn't know. They assumed their little secret was safe. That ignorance made them arrogant. That arrogance made them vulnerable. Emily waltzed past me, humming like the universe hadn't just ripped me apart. Her perfume taunted me, a sweet, innocent smell masking deception. She caught my gaze for a fleeting second. I smiled. A small, quiet smile. Too small to alarm her. Too sharp to ignore. And then I saw him. My boyfriend. My boyfriend. Leaning against the counter, eyes avoiding mine. That avoidance was the confession I didn't need. I didn't speak. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I simply watched. My mind raced. Revenge wasn't an abstract concept anymore. It was a blueprint. I had to be meticulous. Subtle. Invisible until the moment of impact. By lunchtime I had my plan forming. Social media. Secrets. Connections. Embarrassments carefully curated over years, waiting for the perfect moment. I would strip away the mask they wore for the world to see. I would expose the betrayal not just to each other, but to everyone they thought would never know. I rehearsed the confrontation in my head. Not a fight. Not a scream. A reveal. Cinematic. Painful. Beautiful in its inevitability. Every lie they told, every smile they faked would unravel thread by thread. And as the day stretched on, I felt the thrill of control. The storm inside me grew, coiling tighter, sharper, hotter. They had taken everything I thought was untouchable, and now I would take everything they valued in return. By evening I was ready. Not impulsive. Not angry. Calculated. I glanced at their oblivious faces one last time. My voice was calm, but the words behind it carried fire. You think I don't know, I whispered to the shadows of my own rage. But you're about to learn. The truth doesn't wait. It doesn't hide. And it never forgets. That night I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I planned, plotted, and memorized every detail of their lives. The clock ticked toward a reckoning they couldn't imagine. Because the difference between them and me wasn't love. It wasn't blood. It was consequence. And by the time they realized, the world would see exactly who betrayed whom. The calm before the storm was deceptive. But storms don't announce themselves. They strike. And when mine hit, it would leave no corner untouched. For now I smiled at the dark. Not out of happiness. Not out of relief. But because I knew. The game had begun. And I always win. The next morning I woke up with a kind of clarity people only get after surviving a storm. The betrayal still burned, but now it fueled me. I wasn't broken. I was sharpening. I walked into the kitchen with the calmness of someone who already knew how the story would end. Emily and my boyfriend, Nathan, sat together pretending nothing about their body language screamed guilt. They looked up when I entered. Emily flashed that fake sweet smile she'd perfected since childhood. Sis, you look tired, she said lightly. I didn't sleep, I replied. Had a lot on my mind. Nathan shifted uncomfortably. Good. Let the tension choke him. I sat across from them and opened my laptop. Not for work. No, I had something better. Something devastating. The night before I'd gone through years of conversations, messages, photos. Not to cry over them but to weaponize them. Revenge doesn't start big. It starts small. With seeds. I uploaded a picture of Emily, her at a bar last summer, drunk, sloppy and wrapped around a stranger. I didn't post it. Not yet. I simply saved it in a folder titled, The Truth They Hid. I felt Emily's eyes on me. What are you working on? She asked, too curious, too nervous. I snapped the laptop shut gently. Just sorting some things. She didn't need to know her entire reputation was sitting quietly in my hands. After breakfast I texted Nathan's best friend Mark. I knew him well enough to know he couldn't keep a secret. All I asked was simple. Are you free tonight? Need to talk. It's important. 2 minutes later. Yeah, anything. What's wrong? Exactly what I needed. By noon I had visited Emily's job. Not to see her but to see her boss, Caroline. He adored me. Always said I was the responsible sister. Caroline hugged me when I walked in. Hannah. What brings you by? Oh, nothing urgent, I said softly. Just wanted to ask if you could keep this between us. Her face shifted immediately. Of course. I lowered my voice, letting it tremble just enough. I'm worried about her. She's been getting involved with someone she shouldn't. And it's affecting her work. I didn't want to say anything, but I care about her job. Caroline's eyebrows lifted, concern flooding her face. Exactly the reaction I needed. I'll keep an eye on her, she promised. Perfect. I wasn't just going after their hearts. I was going after their foundations. Reputation, relationships, stability. Revenge tasted better when it arrived from multiple directions at once. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the houses, painting the world in gold and regret, I met Mark at a small coffee shop. He looked at me confused and concerned. What's going on? He asked. I took a breath. Slow. Controlled. Cinematic. I think Nathan is hiding something, I whispered. His eyebrows shot up. Like what? I didn't answer. I just slid my phone across the table. Not the text yet. Just a photo. Nathan and Emily together at a concert 2 weeks ago. Close enough to make anyone raise questions. Mark's face drained. Is that Emily? I didn't nod. I didn't speak. Silence did the talking for me. He swallowed hard. Hannah, I think there's something you should know. There was the first crack. The first unraveling of their perfect little lie. I leaned in. Tell me. Mark hesitated, then whispered the words that made my skin go cold. They've been seeing each other longer than you think. Longer. Deeper. More deliberate. The betrayal wasn't a spark. It It was a wildfire. And for the first time since everything started, I didn't feel hurt. I felt powerful. Because now I had confirmation and soon the entire world would too. But not yet. This wasn't the climax. This was just the tightening of the noose. And I wasn't done pulling. I drove home with Mark's words echoing through my head like a second heartbeat. Longer than you think. Not weeks. Not months. Maybe longer than the entire relationship I thought I had with Nathan. Every memory snapped like brittle glass. The night he said he was working late. The weekend Emily said she was house-sitting for a friend. The way they both went silent whenever I walked into the room. Every red flag I had folded neatly and tucked away suddenly unfurled and wrapped around my throat. But I didn't break. I didn't cry. I didn't collapse. I transformed. When I walked back into the house, they were both on the couch. Emily scrolling, Nathan pretending to watch TV. The audacity of their calmness was almost poetic. "Hey Hannah," Nathan said like my name still belonged to him. I stood in the doorway and watched them. Really watched them. Two people who thought I was blind, weak, soft. Their biggest mistake. I sat down across from them, crossing one leg over the other slowly, deliberately. I wanted them to feel the shift in the room. The air thickened. Emily looked up. "You okay?" she asked. "Never better," I said with a small smile. And then I watched Nathan's face. He searched my expression like he could hear something ticking, like he could sense the countdown he didn't know he'd started. He was right. Because tonight wasn't for revenge. Tonight was for exposure. I pulled out my phone pretending to scroll mindlessly. But I wasn't scrolling. I was live recording them while they sat there with their guilt painted across their bodies. Emily leaned her head against Nathan's shoulder. She didn't notice me recording. He didn't either. I stopped the recording and locked my phone, my heartbeat steady. Calm. Almost too calm. Phase 1. Observation. Phase 2. Evidence. Phase 3 would come soon and it would hurt. But not yet. Because revenge isn't just about pain. It's about artistry. I stood up. "I'm heading out tonight." "Where?" Nathan asked. I smiled. "Just out." He nodded, relieved. Emily didn't look up. They thought distance meant detachment. But distance meant strategy. I walked out the door and didn't look back. I drove across town to the one person who loved secrets more than anyone else. Sabrina Lynch, my coworker who practically lived for gossip. If information was currency, she was the Federal Reserve. We met at a quiet rooftop bar. Sabrina took one look at my face and raised an eyebrow. "Oh God. This looks juicy." "It is," I said softly. "And dangerous." She leaned in, eyes gleaming. "I'm listening." I didn't tell her everything. I didn't have to. I just showed her one thing. The out-of-context video of Emily and Nathan on the couch together, cozy, intimate, familiar. Sabrina's lips parted. "That's your sister, and your boyfriend, right?" I took a slow sip of my drink. "Not for long." She exhaled sharply, shaking her head. "Hannah, when this gets out, they're done." "I know," I murmured. A moment of silence settled between us. Then Sabrina said the thing I had been waiting for someone to say out loud. "They deserve worse." "Worse?" "Yes." They did. I walked to the edge of the rooftop, looking down at the glittering city lights below. Everything looked so peaceful from up high. But peace is just the illusion before truth hits. I pulled out my phone and opened the folder with all the evidence. Messages, photos, time-stamped lies, screenshots, videos. Their entire betrayal catalogued like a crime scent on the breeze. The next morning I woke before dawn, calm, steady, and terrifyingly focused. Revenge wasn't chaos anymore. It was choreography. I made myself coffee, sat at the dining table, and opened my laptop. The house was silent. Too silent. That perfect calm before impact. While the coffee steamed, I began phase 3. Destruction through truth. First target. Nathan's image. He cherished 3 things: his job, his friends, and the illusion that everyone saw him as the good guy. So I started with his friends. I composed a carefully crafted message to his closest circle. "Hey, not sure what to do. I've been feeling something's off with Nathan. Was he with you guys on March 12th, April 4th, and July 22nd? He said he was. I sent it to the group chat and set my phone down. Within minutes. No. He wasn't with us any of those days. Is everything okay? Yes. Everything was exactly as it should be. Nathan came downstairs as the replies poured in. Morning, he said casually, grabbing a mug. I looked at him and smiled gently, almost lovingly. You're up early, he said. So are you, I replied. He didn't know the world he built so carefully was already cracking. While he took a sip, I quietly forwarded the screenshots Mark had given me, his own messages to Nathan about keeping things quiet, and Emily being worth the risk, to two of his closest friends. I watched the moment one of them opened it. He went offline immediately. Nathan's phone buzzed once, twice, 3 times. He glanced at it, frowned, then froze. There was panic, confusion, fear stealing the warmth from his face. He looked up. Hannah, did you? I cut him off with a soft, innocent voice. Problem. He didn't answer. His hands shook as he typed something back, his breathing shallow. Emily wandered in moments later, hair messy, wearing his hoodie. The audacity. She stretched, yawned dramatically, then noticed Nathan's expression. What's wrong? He didn't answer. Because he couldn't. Because he didn't know where the leak was coming from. Because guilt makes people stupid. I watched them from across the room, my betrayers, fumbling in confusion while I stirred sugar into my coffee. I hadn't even started with Emily yet. Nathan stormed outside to make a call. Emily followed, whispering sharply. Perfect. I slipped into her room and opened her laptop. I knew her password. Of course I did. She reused it for everything. Her arrogance was my playground. Inside her email I found exactly what I needed. Flirtation. Plans. Receipts. Deleted messages recovered. Screenshots of her telling friends she could steal him easily. But there was something else. Something bigger. A message from a number I didn't recognize. If Hannah finds out, she'll ruin you. Be careful. I stared at it. Not Nathan. Not a friend. Someone else who knew. My pulse quickened. Emily wasn't just sneaking around. She had help. I took photos of everything, evidence stacked like ammunition. I closed her laptop just as their voices grew louder outside. Nathan was shouting. Emily was crying. The cracks were spreading beautifully. I walked outside and leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, watching them unravel. What the hell is going on? Emily snapped. Nathan rubbed his face. My friends know Emily. Someone sent them everything. This is blowing up because you weren't careful. She gasped, offended. Me? You're the one who couldn't keep your mouth shut to Mark. You told your friends. That's how this got out. No, it's you. The irony tasted sweet on my tongue. 2 liars arguing about who lied better. They didn't even notice me standing there. Rough morning? I asked softly. The way they both snapped their heads toward me, wide eyes, pale faces, was the moment I'd been waiting for. Emily's voice shook. Hannah, something's happening. Someone's spreading rumors. Oh. I tilted my head. Rumors or truth? He swallowed hard. I took one slow step toward them. You haven't even seen what comes next. Their faces blanched. Because they could feel it. The shift. The turn. The storm they never saw me build. I brushed past them, whispering just loud enough. This is only the beginning. Behind me, their breathing quickened, their guilt heavy in the air like smoke. The house that once felt like mine was now a battlefield. And I wasn't done. Not even close. The house felt different now. Not like a home. Like a stage where 2 actors were slowly realizing the script wasn't written for them anymore. And I was the director. Nathan paced the living room, phone glued to his ear. Emily hovered near him, trembling, mascara smudged like guilt made visible. I watched from the hallway, quiet as a shadow. Their panic was symphony. Phase 4. Collapse their support. Nathan's friends were already distancing themselves. Now it was Emily's turn. I texted Sabrina the screenshots. Emily bragging about taking him just to prove she could. and laughing about me like I was some clueless extra in her drama. Sabrina didn't hesitate. "Don't worry. I know exactly who to send this to." And she did. Within 20 minutes, Emily's phone exploded with notifications. Her friend group chat. "Wow. So this is who you are. Lose my number. You hurt your own sister?" She stared at the screen as if watching the floor open beneath her. "Hannah, what is happening?" she whispered, voice strangled. But I didn't answer. I let the silence press on her like a weight she couldn't lift. She sank onto the couch, hands trembling. Tears welled in her eyes, not from guilt but from the sudden realization. She was alone. And Nathan was next. Around noon the knock came. 3 sharp taps. Nathan opened the door to find Mr. Dillard, his supervisor from work. Nathan froze. "Sir? What are you doing here?" Mr. Dillard stepped inside, jaw tight. "We need to talk. Now." I leaned against the wall, arms crossed, waiting. Because last night after Sabrina left, I sent one more thing. A completely real, time-stamped collage of Nathan and Emily kissing in a parking lot on a night he told his job he was covering a late shift. They weren't mad about the cheating. They were mad he lied while representing the company during a client event. Nathan's voice cracked. It's private." "You lied to me," Mr. Dillard cut in, voice cold. "To the team. To our clients. Take the week off. We'll be reviewing everything." Nathan's face crumpled. A week off meant one thing. He was being investigated. Emily gasped softly, covering her mouth. "Nathan." He stepped back inside, shutting the door slowly. His hands shook. He stared at me. And for the first time he didn't look angry. He looked terrified. "Hannah, did you do this?" I didn't blink. "No. You did this." He swallowed hard, eyes darting. "You're trying to destroy us." I took a step forward, my voice soft as silk and sharp as glass. "I'm not destroying you. I'm just giving the truth a microphone." Emily sobbed quietly. Please stop." But the begging did nothing to me. Because people only beg when they finally taste the consequences they serve to someone else without hesitation. I walked past them to the kitchen. Calm. Controlled. I poured myself a glass of water, my movements deliberate. Every second of silence tightened the rope around their lies. When I turned, their eyes followed me, 2 trapped animals waiting for the next blow. "You haven't even felt real consequences yet," I said. Emily shook her head, tears streaking down her face. "What do you want? Just tell us. What do you want from us?" "What do I want? I want justice. I want acknowledgement. I want them to look at me and see the person they shredded without hesitation." But I didn't say any of that. Instead, I walked closer, so close I could see the panic trembling in their irises. I whispered, "exactly what you gave me. Confusion. Fear. Humiliation. Loss. You took my love and my trust," I continued. "So now I take yours. Piece by piece." Nathan stepped back. "Hannah, you're scaring us." "Oh," I breathed, a cold smile forming. "I haven't even started." I left them standing in the middle of the room, broken, suspicious of each other, terrified of me. As I walked upstairs, I heard them whispering, arguing, unraveling. Their voices were muffled, desperate, frantic. The sound didn't break me. It healed me. Because for the first time since their betrayal, they felt something close to what they did to me. And I wasn't done. No. Part 7 would be the strike. The reveal. The moment everything they clung to shattered. By the next morning the house felt radioactive. Emily barely came out of her room. Nathan kept pacing the hallway like a man waiting for a verdict he already knew was coming. But the real fallout hadn't even begun. Today was the reveal. Not to family. Not to friends. Not to coworkers. To everyone. Because Phase 5 wasn't personal, it was public. I got dressed slowly, choosing a simple black sweater. Neutral. Controlled. Like a woman who knew exactly what she was doing. Downstairs, I could hear Nathan's voice cracking on a phone call with his boss. Emily crying in the bathroom. 2 separate storms drowning inside the same house. I walked into the living room just as Nathan hung up. His face was gray. "It's bad," he muttered. Someone sent more screenshots to HR. They're conducting a full review. I tilted my head. Someone? Or the truth? He clenched his jaw. Why are you doing this? I looked at him for a long moment. Then I said the line that finally made him break. I warned you that betrayal has a cost. You chose the bill. He moved forward like he wanted to argue, but Emily opened her door right then. Eyes swollen, hair messy, holding her phone in a shaking hand. Hannah, she whispered, please tell me you didn't send this. I walked over, took her phone and looked. A social media post. Already at 2,000 likes, 400 comments and climbing. A collage of the truth. Nathan and Emily together. Screenshots. Dates. Receipts. Lies. Time stamps. The caption simple. Sometimes betrayal comes from the people closest to you. I hadn't even posted it. Sabrina had. And she tagged me. Nathan's voice cracked. This is public? I lowered her phone. Truth always finds the public eventually. Emily shook her head violently. Why would she do this? Why would you let her? You earned it, I said softly. And then Emily snapped. She lunged forward, sobbing, grabbing my arm. Hannah, I'm your sister. I made a mistake, okay? A huge one. But please don't ruin my whole life over it. There was the self-centered plea. The plea that wasn't about me or the damage she caused or the trust she destroyed. Just her life. Her reputation. Her consequences. I looked down at her hands gripping my wrist. Get off, I said. She dropped her hold. Nathan sat down heavily on the couch, staring at nothing, hands threaded through his hair. This is going to destroy my career. I turned slowly toward him. You destroyed your career when you decided your girlfriend's sister was worth lying for. Silence. Raw. Cutting. Surgical. Emily slumped down beside him, shaking. They looked at each other, not with love, not with passion, but with blame. You told your friends, Nathan hissed. You told Mark, Emily shot back. You shouldn't have texted that stuff. You told her you loved me. They imploded in front of me, pointing fingers, tearing each other apart, unraveling their little fantasy with the same hands they used to build it. And I just stood there, watching. Their relationship wasn't built on love. It was built on betrayal. And betrayal never survives the light. But the real moment came exactly at 4:17 p.m. The front door opened. And Mom walked in. Her eyes fixed on me first. Then on them. Then on the tension in the air, thick as smoke. Hannah, she breathed, voice trembling. Is it true? Everything online. Behind her, Dad stepped inside. His face pale. Stiff. Emily shot up. Mom, Dad, it's not what it looks like. But Mom cut her off with a single sharp hand. Enough. The silence that followed was suffocating. Dad finally spoke. We saw the video. The messages. The dates. His gaze turned icy toward Nathan. You did this, under our roof? Nathan swallowed, his voice barely a breath. Sir, I can explain. No, Dad snapped. You can pack your things and leave. Nathan froze. Emily gasped. Dad. You can't. But Mom turned to her, voice shaking with anger and heartbreak. You betrayed your sister. For months. And you lied to all of us. Emily's face fell apart. Mom, please. Mom shook her head, tears filling her eyes. You knew what Hannah meant to him. And you did this anyway. Dad's voice was final. You will not continue living here, Emily. Pack your things. Emily's scream cracked through the living room. You're taking her side? Everything stopped. Mom turned slowly, her voice cold as winter. She's the only one who didn't lie. Emily collapsed onto the floor, sobbing hysterically. Nathan stood. I'll leave. Yes, Dad said. You will. Emily reached for him like she expected him to save her. But Nathan stepped away. I have to deal with my own mess. That hurt her more than anything else that day. He walked out the door. Emily sobbed harder. She wasn't crying for me. Or for what she did. She was crying because her partner in betrayal left her to face the ruins alone. I turned to go upstairs. Mom stopped me. Hannah, she whispered, I'm so sorry. We didn't know. I nodded. I know. Then I walked up the stairs as Emily cried into her hands below. Her whole world crumbling in on itself. Not from lies. but from truth. Truth always finishes what betrayal starts.